and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'm going to open the floor to public comments, and the first gentleman I'm going to ask to come to the floor is Dr. Arn Anderson.
Do I get to stand by that podium?
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay. Well, y'all are in luck because I had tried to print off my notes to come here tonight and I lost them on the computer. So it's going to be really long-winded, but now it's really fast. We should be okay. One, I appreciate the opportunity to come speak. Most of you know me. My name's Arn Anderson. I own and operate Cross Timbers Veterinary Hospital. I've been here since '94. I've been an owner since '97. My wife's family's been here since 1875, so before Bowie was a town. She teaches at NCTC and has taught there for the last 15 years. We've had 4 children go through the school district. All of them went on to get college degrees. One of them has a doctorate, and one of them is getting a master's right now. So we support our small town, we support our school district. My wife and I have worked with the Scouts, Rotary, the Lutheran Church, and the school board. In short, we have roots in this town. Cross Timbers as a veterinary hospital has been here since 1958. Originally, we were down by the railroad tracks. But we've been at our location now since '65. We're a full-service mixed animal rural practice. We have 5 doctors and 15 employees. The 15 employees have jobs with a living wage, health care, retirement, vacation. They're good jobs. We provide after-hours service, advanced diagnostics, full treatment protocols. We take care of our entire county. Actually, we're over 3 counties. We're involved in community service. We work at Bowie High School in the veterinary assistant program. We teach at NCTC. We have doctors that have taught at Tarleton State. We teach a lecture every spring at Texas A&M's College of Veterinary Medicine. We've worked with the TSCRA, the Chamber of Commerce. Some of you have seen me trying to MC that. Trying. We lecture for AgriLife. We support our 4-H and FFA. We have provided pro bono services for people caught in the fires and in tornadoes here in town. We have one of the few rural veterinarians that's certified in chiropractic medicine. We have one of 15 board certified beef specialists in the United States and Canada. We routinely, we average about 14 students a year that come to us from vet schools all over the United States, Canada, Europe, and South America. We sell them Bowie when they come here. We sell them rural practice in a rural town. They all go home with a little package from the Chamber of Commerce. We try to sell them on the benefits of being in a small town. We also have tours from LSU and Texas A&M alternating years. They bring about 20 students here, and we show them what Bowie, Texas is all about. In short, we have corporate roots in this town. We are one of the oldest continuing businesses in the city of Bowie. We've been here for over 60 years. Recently, we felt the pressure of nonprofit veterinary care providers from urban areas that are coming into our town. Let's go over what a nonprofit is just real briefly. They don't pay taxes. They are funded by grants. They get a 40% discount on all goods and drugs and supplies. Their veterinarians make twice what mine do. They have the benefit of having the public opinion. They have a story that's easy to sell. When you can put forward a price that's incredibly low for services, it takes people's mind and makes that the normal price. These nonprofits started as offering veterinary services to people of limited economic means. They have expanded out from that, and now they'll welcome anybody regardless of economic means. They've expanded from low-cost spay and neuter into offering vaccines, diagnostics, exams, well pet care, and pharmaceuticals. I've met with this individual nonprofit organization twice, and I've asked what their mission was and how can we help with their mission. How can we help them in a rural area? They do not want to cooperate with us. Their mission is to save lives, change the world, and make money. That's their stated mission. What's happening is they've come into a rural environment which is different than an urban environment. They're coming into our rural environment and they're taking away the base of veterinary medicine. For a practice to survive in a rural county or in a rural town, you need the entire community to support you. You need all aspects of veterinary medicine. They're taking that away on an unlevel playing field. And that's basically why I'm here tonight. They don't have roots in our town. We are low-hanging fruit. To use a veterinary vernacular, we are their cash cow. In order for them to get more grants, they need more animals. And that's what we have. As they increase their numbers, they increase the amount of money that they receive. In 2017, one nonprofit in Wichita Falls grossed over $1.2 million. Nearly half of that went to salaries. So what I came here tonight to do was to ask the city council to pass an ordinance. I want you to prevent the city from in any way helping these organizations come into Bowie. I need you. So I need the city council to pass an ordinance. I need you to look at it that you will not accelerate a nonprofit over the practices that are already established in town. I need you to consider not supporting them in advertisement or facilitating their use of our city for a nonprofit that's exceeded the bounds of what they were designed to do. The result, if they come here, if they establish here, the result is you will see your rural practices dwindle, they will fold, you will lose veterinarians, you will lose services, it affects animal welfare, you will travel further to get the veterinary care that you need. It affects public health. You will not have veterinarians standing here working in your community on diseases that affect both humans and animals. It will affect the community. We have seen it elsewhere. In our conversation with the nonprofit, they said they are coming to Bowie, they are coming to Nakona, they are coming to Henrietta. They have already opened a practice in Graham, and they have come to our practice in Albany. They're moving into the rural area because we have the animals and they need the numbers. They have caused damage to the urban practices. They will be fatal to the rural practices. It's time for our city to stand up and protect the businesses that we have. I have 4 young veterinarians that have families, that have spouses, that are ready to live here. They are the future of your city. If you don't back them, they won't be here. So I asked the city to pass this ordinance. Are there any questions?
Now let me make a statement to the council. I have a couple other people that also want to talk about this, but they're not on the agenda. He is on the agenda, his agenda number 9. So you can listen to him now, and we can bring up the other speakers. Or you can go ahead and speak to him now, and then listen to the other speakers. So however you would like, but it would not have done me as any good to have the other speakers without them talking first. So you can ask him questions at this point.
Arn, do you have a sample ordinance that you have put together or something like that?
I do not have a sample ordinance. I had to call my lawyer to find out what word to use. So I do not have one.
Are there any other cities that have already done this, what you're asking?
The city of Olney voted down cooperation with the NPO, with the nonprofit organization, and they canceled the vaccine clinic they have. They have not passed an ordinance yet.
Lauren, where do these organizations get their grant money?
So grants are given by private companies, foundations, individuals. They also receive gifts from individuals. They are a tax-free nonprofit, so you get a tax benefit.
And you and all your veterinarians do pay taxes here?
A lot. Yes, sir.
Absolutely a lot.
You bet. I
We
didn't mean that
appreciate
offensively.
We appreciate that money.
I do have a question though. Okay, how do we do this without invading on the other nonprofits or putting us, I mean, can we do just one nonprofit?
That
Or
kinda
do we
was
have
my-
to
I
put it
kinda
into as a whole?
I would seek legal counsel on it, but certainly the city would never want to put a nonprofit over the top of a working business in town when the service is already offered.
I understand, yes,
I would agree with that. I'm just concerned that if we say, really simple example. Okay, so we say we're not gonna promote any nonprofit over, existing business. And, we have a nonprofit that wants to sell burgers. Well, do we let them sell burgers? We have businesses that sell burgers. I mean, that's a real simple application of the situation, but that's kind of my legal question is how do you,
It would be a legal question. You can end up in a situation where a nonprofit can come in here if the Habitat for Humanity came in and said they're gonna build houses for anybody of any economic means, you put all your carpenters out of business. They won't function. And that's what these veterinary providers have
right, I
done, is
agree
they've
with
expanded their
you.
way.
I mean, I totally agree
So I
with you.
think it's a decision for the board, for the city council to sit down and say, how do we word this?
yeah, I do believe we have to make
But if the city organizes, which has happened in both Graham and Olney, if the city organizes the situation, advertises it, gives the location, provides the resources for these clinics, and in one case for the development and building of a hospital, you put your veterinary hospitals out of business.
Right, I absolutely agree. We shouldn't be promoting anybody over anybody
Do
else.
we promote nonprofits? Hello. Janice,
Yes,
do we promote nonprofits?
no,
Main Street, do we promote, Chamber, do we promote? I mean,
Tracy,
ma'am.
do you have anything to add to this conversation at this time?
Aren't I have to say this is brand new to me. So I'm not sure exactly what the breadth and width
It is-
of any type of ordinance would be. And so it's, you know, an ordinance isn't law.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know if we could maybe look at all the things that are available to us, not necessarily an ordinance, but a resolution or some sort of support, if that's something that the council wants to look at. I just, you know, ordinances are, it's kind of a big deal. The other thing is too, I'm not familiar with the occupations code that has to do with vets. You can't step on any of those toes. And so, I don't know enough about you guys' job to know and about the occupations code and how all that works together.
With two things that are interesting here. One is, anytime you want to ride with us, or if we have questions, we'll be happy to let you come. And we'll answer your questions. And the second thing, this is a national problem. It's in front of the state legislatures in Alabama, Washington, and Idaho. Here in Texas, you have the TSCRA that's interested in it, Texas Animal Health Commission's interested in it, and the AABP, which is a bovine practitioners, because it's decreasing the number of rural clinics available, which is not what the state of Texas wants to do.
Is there any other city or an organization maybe that's promoting an ordinance that these cities can?
Not that I know of.
And Alney hasn't, I'm looking for one we can piggyback. You know
No,
what
no,
I'm saying?
and I fully understand that. I'm asking you all to go out on a limb, and I'm asking you all to defend us. Those 4 veterinarians, they need your defense. I was hoping that they would all sit together so I can say, do you see these young people right here? But they're all like standing against the wall. maybe you can be the trail cutter on this. Maybe you can be the one that puts it in the order. If you don't have rural vets, you will feel the repercussions of it. We tried to explain to the nonprofits that it's different from an urban environment to a rural environment. That was not accepted. We have interviewed the vet clinics in Wichita Falls, and I know of none of them that have profited from the nonprofit either. They've all,
Sorry about that.
that's okay. And I understand an ordinance is a law, and I understand that it's a big step, and that's what I'm asking you to do.
So none of your associations that you're connected with have put out a sample ordinance or any information?
The AVMA has said, that's the American Veterinary Medical Association, has a statement on this, and they have stated that these organizations should be means-based. They should be based on economic means, and should not be open to the public due to the destruction that they do to clinics. So they do have a statement from the AVMA.
But they had,
No city ordinance on it. We have presented this to Drew Springer's office, and I do go in front of the board in April, the Texas Veterinary Medical Board, to address this situation.
While we're on this topic, and of course, anybody else that speaks, you won't have the luxury of being able to get communicated with. If you'd like to add to what Arn has to say, I'd like to invite anybody. I know we have a couple of veterinarians here. Yes, sir? Could you come to the podium and also?
Oh,
give
well,
your name?
it's gonna take long enough to go to the podium. I'll be back. My name's Mike from Ward 1 or 2, like you may know me. Retired from here, practiced veterinary medicine 42 years. Most of these practices that you're talking about like this are not veterinary practices. They're spay and neuter clinics. That's almost all they do. That makes it pretty easy, not a lot of equipment, don't have to charge much, but the question is on these practices like this, if someone makes a mistake, like in surgery or something like this, they're out of town, the staff they're very often come into the small towns and do the easy things that are profitable and take away from the veterinary clinics. Now, I've been retired several years. I don't practice anymore. I don't have any skin in the game. But what you're gonna end up with is veterinarians that are practicing part-time. And if you need them at night, they don't do it. They don't keep after hours. They refer it to these emergency clinics. Well, they got them in the Metroplex in Wichita, but not next door. What you want large animal work done. Most of them don't do any large animal work. That's the hard part. It's not quite as much fun. Little old ladies don't, tell you how great you are and how grateful they are that you're doing this to your dog. What counts is what happens in the middle of the night, holidays and all. If you can get somebody, but you get these clinics in here, they're not gonna do it. And if they squeeze the easy money out, like Arn said, there won't be any more mixed practices. You won't have. That's mainly what
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Gilbo, can we let Dr. Barlow go first? Dr. Barlow.
Hi, I'm Pam Barlow. I drove into Bowie in 1983 and found a home. I started my practice here and have been very, very happy and welcomed in this wonderful community, even though I wasn't born and raised here. Most of my family has migrated here to be in this community because of what I've told them about this community. I'd like to answer a few other questions because I have experience in multiple phases of veterinary medicine. First of all, when I came to Bowie, my business plan, we each have our own business plan. It's independent businesses. independent small businesses. My business plan was not to grow and get large and have multiple clinics and, build a large, huge veterinary practice with multiple doctors. My plan was to come here and provide the absolute very best medical care to my patients 24/7, as much as was humanly possible. And I've tried to do that. I've been in practice here in Bowie now for 35 years. In answer to your question, has the city ever actually facilitated a 501c3? The answer is yes. I believe it was in either 2005 or 2008, someone had the great idea of bringing a spay-neuter clinic into Bowie and doing a one-day Lollapalooza spay-neuter clinic. They were given city facilities to use. They were offered free electricity, free garbage disposal. Some of the city employees volunteered. Animals were spayed and neutered without regard for the ability of the owners to pay. I do not know this to be a fact, but I was told after the fact that in order to support the spay-neuter clinic, not only the mayor, but also one of the presidents of our local bank had their animals done at that clinic. Obviously, they could have afforded anything they wanted to pay for. Now, I was in the military. I've served military veterinary medicine, private practice here. I also worked for 18 years with the spay-neuter clinic in Wichita Falls at their animal shelter. I did the spays and neuters for the shelter animals that were being adopted and for people who did not have the income to have their animals spayed and neutered, usually in parts of the city where it was noted that they had a lot of stray problems and they knew that the people just couldn't afford it. And so I've seen what happens inside a 501c3. And just like any other organization, they live to get bigger and more powerful and to spread out and to become greater. As far as where the money comes from, these grants we're talking about, they're not only public grants. There's also a thing called Maddie's Fund. Maddie's Fund is part of your state taxes that go down to Austin, and then these 501c3s apply for those funds, and they're given those funds, which are then used to drop the costs of the services that are being provided by the 501c3s. So we are competing not only against a nonprofit, but against our own tax money. We need your support and your help, if no other reason than because we are here for you. Most of us don't have much say in what happens in Bowie. We, for the most part, live outside of the city limits. Our businesses are here, but our businesses do not afford us the opportunity to vote for the things that occur in the city of Bowie. So without your help, we have no voice. We are counting on you to look at my 7 employees' jobs and the ability to have a vet that you want. We are rich here in Bowie, even if you don't know it. We have 3 clinics. If you like Clinic A, great. If you like Clinic B, great. Clinic C, you can go to whichever clinic you want. And in the middle of the night, if you call one clinic and you can't reach them, you can call somebody else. Most towns of less than 6,000 people do not have that luxury. And yet, what little have we asked Bowie for? I've served on the Chamber of Commerce. I've served on Main Street. I've donated to 4-H. I've bid on animals at the 4-H sales. We give back as much as, if you want to consider that we take from the community. Although I will tell you, my clients are not going to tell you that I take from this community. So please do consider that I am also a large animal practitioner in that I take care of goats and sheep and chickens and things of that nature. I don't do cattle and horse work anymore, except for very few clients that I've had for 35 years. The thing is that people who have chickens and goats and sheep will not have a practitioner if there aren't a lot of dogs and cats and hedgehogs and chameleons and everything else that we see at our clinic to keep the doors open, so that when the folks with the sheep and the goats and the chickens need somebody, there's a clinic there. Please consider that. Y'all have the luxury of having 3 clinics. And you could have 1 and maybe do just fine and maybe get by. But there are 3 clinics here, each with our own clients who are very happy with us. And what if the only clinic left is the one that you didn't want to go to? I don't want to see that happen. We've spent too much time, we've worked too hard, we've given too much to this community to watch somebody who's only in it for the money, and believe me, the 501c3s are only in it for the money. I could never draw the salary off of my clinic that they make, and it's very sad. But I'm here, I've been here 35 years, and Lord willing, I plan to be here for the rest of my life. So I'm asking you to consider taking care of the clinics that you have here. Thank you.
Mr. Gilbo?
My name is Jim Gilbo. I have a nonprofit rescue, dog and cat rescue, also horses. And I've been approached several times through the years of getting these people to come in there and spay and neuter my animals. I've had these dogs and cats thrown over my fence with notes tied to their neck saying, I had this dog spayed and neutered at the deal down here for free, and can you take him? And of course I took him in, and I had to call Arn or one of his vets to say, hey, I've got a dog here I'm gonna have sewed back up. And it's just been fixed or spayed. And I take them down there and they say, wow, did they just have this done? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, they didn't go deep enough because that hadn't been done. They made one incision, sewed it back up, and there it is. So I ask you, I fight every day to make sure that, and I'm not one of the $1 million nonprofits, I can tell you, in this town. Up until this last couple of years, I've depended on the oil field service business to support my deal. Since then, I have not been able to do that. But I still go down and see these veterinarians every week, and they bust their tails to try to make my animals back to normal. So I ask you, step forward and help these vets out, because we have got to have some to go to. I can't drive all the way to Wichita Falls every time I need to go get a 24-hour service. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, Dr. Miller, Dr. Barlow does chameleons.
We'll refer him.
My name's Dylan Steen, and I have been to Arn's clinic plenty, Dr. Whittingham's clinic. I'm pretty sure I own a suite out there, how much money that I pay on a regular basis. You know, I totally support having the veterinary clinics in this town. I use them pretty much on a daily basis, it feels like. But I hesitate to completely knock out the nonprofits, especially on the spay and neuter. How much, just in the past few weeks, have we heard everybody complaining about the overflow of feral cats, dogs. I'm telling you people, if you base me having to take every animal that I have gotten spayed and neutered that has been feral and that I've just trapped on my own and paid out of my own pocket to try and help the feral cat population of this town, if you want to look at what I make a year and make me pay full price for every one of those cats I may never see again, but I've helped control the feral cat population in this town out of my own pocket, then you're killing me. Now, I am not gonna stand here and tell you the amount of money that Brenda and I put out yearly to support Orange Clinic and Dr. Best. Now, I've never used Dr. Barlow, although I paid for a dog to get fixed at your clinic that did use you. So it's not that I'm not supporting these vets, but I'm just saying there's a gray area here too that needs to be considered. Because there's an elderly couple on Small Street, or Strong Street, I'm sorry, that they've got cats that come up and they do their best to feed them. There's no way in heck that they could have afforded to got those feral cats fixed, but because they were trapped and taken, now they weren't done here in town at a low-cost clinic, they were actually transported to Wichita Falls. They could not have afforded to pay for the full stay overnight, make sure you get all the oxygen and the hands-on treatment. And yeah, it's a bonus. Trust me and Brenda, we take ours so that they got to stay overnight, they get baking powder on their butt before they come home. And we pay the price for that. But on the ferals that we just out of the goodness and to try and help control the feral population, no way can I take every one of those, even with the amount of salary I'm blessed to make every year, there's no way. I would say last year alone, in the year of 2018, 30 ferals that we trapped and got spayed or neutered and released them back. That's 30 female cats that will not be having kittens, and there's no way I could have paid full veterinary prices on that. So I'm not trying to knock any of these veterinarians, I'm not. I rely on their service. That young man right there got a thank you card from me on how well he did with my little rebel. So I know the benefits of having veterinarians in this town, and I absolutely adore their services. But there is a gray area here that's gonna need to be addressed too and looked at. Thank you.
So if I can touch on that real quick. Your clinics in town, if they're unable to provide this service, so we have low-cost spay and neuter that's equivalent to the nonprofits' prices. We have low-cost vaccination clinics that equal their prices. If we're unable to provide a service, then certainly we can look somewhere else to meet the needs of our community. We feel that we can meet, out of the 3 clinics and your veterinarians in town, that we can meet all the needs of the community. If not, then certainly that we would utilize a nonprofit. The idea is to provide good veterinary medicine for our town. And that's the whole scope, like Dr. Ward said, the entire scope of veterinary medicine, not just the easy stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
And I had one more thing here from my own personal experience. With all the veterinary clinics that there are in Wichita Falls, with an animal shelter there and an aggressive animal control department that picks up the strays and that sort of thing. With the animal shelter there spaying and neutering every single animal before it's released to the public. I worked there 18 years, and we saw exactly 0 change over 18 years in the stray population coming into the animal shelter. This is pretty well consistent across the country. It is the people who don't care about their animals that are creating the overpopulation problem. And I don't care if you offer them spays and neuters for free. They're not gonna do it. The way I know is we had a big fund drive and we went to certain neighborhoods in Wichita Falls and we offered vouchers for free spays and neuters. Occasionally someone would take us up on a free spay. But we got cussed out more times than you would think when we were offering free neuters to certain people's animals. They don't want it done. And those are where your stray populations are coming from. Even the people who take their animals to the low-cost spay neuter clinic in Wichita Falls or whatever, these are responsible pet owners. They may not have the money, but they're responsible pet owners. They are not the problem. The problem is coming from the non-responsible pet owners. And I don't care if you had a veterinary clinic on every corner in this town, you would not change that situation. I've seen the actual numbers through the years for 18 years. And I know the reality of the situation. I've worked very hard, but I feel like in 18 years, I made very little impact. Thank you.
Lauren? Can I go?
Oh, yeah, no, I was just gonna take any questions. Find out who did.
I'm Rick Palmer. I didn't come up here to speak on this. It's too good an opportunity to pass up. 3 weeks ago, my dog was in my front yard and was attacked by 2 pits. He's barely breathing. I got him to their clinic and he died on the way. I'm gonna urge, because I agree with Pam, this $50 fine, if you got a stray dog, and on this dog, I found the tags of the attacking dog, one of them. And the police said they couldn't do anything. But if you got a stray dog, and at least it's collared, this fine needs to go from $50 to $500. We gotta put some bite into the loss. This insignificant lack of responsibility ownership that she's addressing has got to stop, and it's gotta stop here. You don't like picking up your dog mangled. You did a good job, because while we were picking him up, somebody pulled in and said there's a limping pit going down Decatur Street. So he didn't go quietly, but he's still gone. He came up 2 years ago. He was a stray. But that one's hurt, and I've been wanting to address that issue, but these two right here just opened the door. And I encourage you, put some bite into your law and start hurting people. These 2 dogs that just killed my dog, I've heard about them killing the cats. Me and my wife go out and pick the paper up in the dark. You can carry a gun now. That sounds pretty stupid. Well, I don't want to go one-on-one with a couple of pit bulls or anything. So thank you for your time.
Council? Dr. Anderson's back up there. Do you have any more questions?
All right, I just want to tell you guys, appreciate you and Beth and all you vets staying here in Bowie and making this place y'all's home, because we couldn't do it without you guys. And I want to let you know that we're going to get together and this is the verbiage, since it's being a new area, we've got to come together on that, make sure we cover you guys and the city's covered as well. So we'll definitely do whatever we can to help you guys.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all, and I'm gonna leave it where it is on the agenda, and give you some time to talk about it, and I may to mull it over, and then you'll see it again, in its actual spot on the agenda.
Okay.
Do I have any other comments from citizens? I have a request to speak from Christy Grant, if you're still
Yes, ma'am.
wanting to speak.
Yes,
Sorry,
I
Christy,
am.
behind you.
Yes, sorry. Hi. My name is Christy Grant. For you guys probably don't know who I am. I haven't been here very long. My husband is the Public Works Director here in the city. We moved to Bowie in July of 2017. Uprooted both of our children right out of high school and moved them here and brought them to this community, which we've heard high praises about. My husband was very excited about the opportunity to become the Public Works Director here. And as we began our journey here in Bowie, just a little backstory, we have never lived in a city where my husband managed, ever. We always lived in another city where so we weren't ever really a part of any of the political stuff. So, this is the first for me. And it's really uncharted territories, and it's taken, a lot of prayer for myself to come up here today to you to speak with each of you individually, as not just a wife, but a mother. We had an incident happen on Sunday that a council member drove by our home and took a picture of our house and my car. Just because my husband's truck city truck, just happens to be sitting in the driveway. I don't know what it was, to prove a point, to make a point, I'm not sure. But I'm coming here today to you to say that I'm expressing my concern for our current city council members that have and will drive by an employee's home and take pictures of their property or their vehicles and post it on social media. My family and I have the right to privacy, regardless if my husband is a city employee or not. We reserve the right to our privacy and not have our home nor our vehicle, whether it be the whole house or part of it, or part of the car or all of the car, posted on social media for nothing other than to bring discord. I am making a formal request to you, to everyone on this council and future councils, that you not come to my house, and including but not limiting to, taking pictures of my home, my vehicles, my friends, my family members, and posting it on social media without my permission. I have that right to privacy. I have that right to people not know where I live, which at this point they probably all know where I live now. But we as citizens of this town, and I have the right to that privacy, and I would appreciate if it was respected. So I thank you for your time and listening to me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
I have one more comment.
You have to go right back over?
I'm addressing this golf course purchase issue. Play golf, but a lot of people don't call me a golfer, so set that aside. I enjoy it. And I come to know Dwayne and Diane. They bought barbecue when I had that business going. But this town cannot afford to buy a golf course. We can't fix streets.
Amen.
We can't fix streets. We don't have our animal control being done. Our infrastructure. I wish everybody had a Cadillac, but we can't do it. It would be, Wayne would be the one to do it, but as hard as I saw him work, and usually the transition into the private sector, production goes down, it would be a negative cash cow. I almost feel like this issue is almost like the hospital deal that was attempted to go down our throat.